Teenage dreamer, these are my teenage dreams. One day I'll be a baller, one day I'll play for.
Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dan back again with another reaction. Today I'll be watching the story of the Prophet Moses and Pharaoh from the Quran. I believe it's from chapter 28 in the Quran, if I'm not mistaken. This was a request. He's asked me to react to the best Quran recitation to the Prophet Moses and Pharaoh story by Raad Alkurdi. This is on the Raad Alkurdi YouTube channel. So yeah, let's get into it, man. Like and subscribe, as we always do. Let's not waste any time today. Let's get right into the reaction. Let's go.
تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى الرحمن على العرش استوى له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وما بينهما وما تحت الثرى وإن تجهر بالقول فإنه يعلم السر وأخفى الله لا إله إلا هو له الأسماء الحسنى.
Just going to pause it quickly. Yeah, just to let people know the story of Moses. He came across a burning bush who called to him and he said, I am the Lord. The voice from the bush said, take your shoes off here, you are stepping on holy ground. God then gave Moses the instructions to go to Egypt and free his people from the Pharaoh, as they were in enslavement. They were living a life of slavery and servitude. So he sent Moses to the Pharaoh and to Egypt to free the Israelites. Hence why the Jewish people believe they are the people of God. He, as an example to Moses of his power, God turned his staff, his walking stick, into a snake to show one of the miracles to Moses, to show that he is God. Moses said that, I'm not a very good speaker, so can my brother Aaron speak on my behalf? God said, yes, I'll go there with Aaron and I'll guide both of you on what to say. And the whole thing about the leading the Israelites out of Egypt, and then the whole Red Sea thing. And so this is the Islamic take on the story, basically, just for a bit of context. Let's continue.
وهل أتاك حديث موسى إذ رأى نارا فقال لأهلهم كثوا إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى فلما أتاها نودي يا موسى.
Okay, so let me just double check something. Okay, so that's interesting. It's a bit different. So the original biblical telling of the Moses story, I'll read it to you. This is the contemporary English version. It says, one day Moses was taking care of the sheep and goats of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian, and Moses decided to lead them across the desert to Sinai, the holy mountain. There, an angel of the Lord appeared to him from a burning bush. Moses saw that the bush was on fire, but it was not burning up. This is strange, he said to himself. I'll go over and see why the bush isn't burning up. When the Lord saw Moses coming near the bush, he called him by name, and Moses answered, Here I am. God replied, Don't come any closer. Take off your sandals. The ground where you are standing is holy. I am the God who was worshipped by your ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses was afraid to look at God, and so he hid his face. The Lord said, I have seen how my people are suffering as slaves in Egypt. I have heard them beg for my help because of the way they are being mistreated. I feel sorry for them, and I have come down to rescue them from the Egyptians. So, that is the traditional biblical telling of the story of Moses, how he came across the burning bush. However, in this Quran retelling, which is supposed to have corrected some of the faults or the changes in the Bible, as people say, they are saying that Moses saw a fire and told his family he was going to investigate the fire instead of leading sheep to Mount Sinai and coming across the burning bush, which is an interesting change in the story in the Islamic version, from the Islamic version to the traditional biblical version. So yeah, let's keep going. So he's gone to investigate the fire, and when he's come to the fire, let's take it back a little bit. Let's go from here.
فقال لأهلهم كثوا إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى فلما أتاها نودي يا موسى إني أنا ربك فاخلع نعليك إنك بالواد.
Okay, so same thing here. Although it doesn't mention a burning bush, it mentions him going towards a fire and speaking to God. The fire is still there, burning bush isn't there, but the removal of his sandals is still there, as he's on sacred ground, holy ground. That still continues in the Islamic telling of Moses. So let's keep going.
إنك بالواد المقدس طوى وأنا اخترتك فاستمع لما يوحى إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدني وأقم الصلاة لذكري إن الساعة آتية أكاد أخفيها لتجزى كل نفس بما تسعى فلا يصدنك عنها من لا يؤمن بها واتبع هواه فتردى وما تلك بيمينك يا موسى قال هي عصاي أتوكأ عليها وأهش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مآرب أخرى فألقاها فإذا هي حية تسعى.
Okay, so we've already got to the miracle of the staff. The Islamic revelation doesn't have the full conversation that, how it was told in the Bible, freeing the Egyptians and all the land stuff. That's not there in this one. We've gone straight to the staff miracle where he turns the staff into a snake. So let's keep going.
قال خذها ولا تخف سنعيدها سيرتها الأولى واضمم يدك إلى جناحك تخرج بيضاء من غير سوء آية أخرى لنريك من آياتنا الكبرى اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري.
Okay, that's interesting, because in the biblical telling, Moses says, I'm not a good speaker, Lord. These people will not listen to me. I'm not very eloquent. I don't have a projecting voice. They won't listen to me. So he asks if Aaron can be sent to speak for him on his behalf. See, now in this version, it's not exactly like that. He says, appoint for me a minister from my family, Aaron my brother, increase through him my strength. So he says here, untie the knot from my tongue that they may understand my speech. So there's allusions to that conversation. Obviously, I guess the Bible is to be, I guess it would seem that the Quran is to be written in full knowledge, and you have to have like a good, like a sound biblical understanding. If you're to read the Quran, it's like the Quran is like an update to the biblical stories. But yeah, so I think it really helps to have a good understanding of how the biblical story was told. Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing, but it's not as so much detail as in Moses in the Bible says, I'm not a good speaker, please send Aaron to speak for me. But in this one, it kind of jumps that whole explanation, and it just says, and Moses just says, untie the knot from my tongue that they may understand my speech, which is obviously talking about how he's not a good speaker and he wants Aaron to speak for him. So yeah.
لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا قال قد أوتيت سؤلك يا موسى ولقد مننا عليك مرة أخرى إذ أوحينا إلى أمك ما يوحى أن اقذفيه في التابوت فاقذفيه في اليم فليلقه اليم بالساحل يأخذه عدو لي وعدو له وألقيت عليك محبة مني ولتصنع على عيني إذ تمشي أختك فتقول هل أدلكم على من يكفله فرجعناك إلى أمك كي تقر عينها ولا تحزن وقتلت نفسا فنجيناك من الغم وفتناك فتونا فلبثت سنين في أهل مدين ثم جئت على قدري يا موسى واصطنعتك لنفسي اذهب أنت وأخوك بآياتي ولا تنيا في ذكري اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقولا له قولا لينا لعله يتذكر أو يخشى قالا ربنا إننا نخاف أن يفرط علينا أو أن يطغى قال لا تخافا إنني معكما أسمع وأرى فأتياه فقولا إنا رسولا ربك فأرسل معنا بني إسرائيل ولا تعذبهم قد جئناك بآية من ربك والسلام على من اتبع الهدى إنا قد أوحي إلينا أن العذاب على من كذب وتولى قال فمن ربكما يا موسى قال ربنا الذي أعطى كل شيء خلقه ثم هدى قال فما بال القرون الأولى قال علمها عند ربي في كتاب لا يضل الأولى قال علمها عند ربي في كتاب لا يضل ربي ولا الذي جعل لكم الأرض مهدا وسلك لكم فيها سبلا وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به أزواجا من نبات شتى كلوا وارعوا أنعامكم إن في ذلك لآيات لأولي النهى منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى ولقد أريناه آياتنا كلها فكذب وأبى قال أجئتنا لتخرجنا من أرضنا بسحرك يا موسى فلنأتينك بسحر مثله فاجعل بيننا وبينك موعدا لا نخلفه نحن ولا أنت مكانا سوى قال موعدكم يوم الزينة وأن يحشر الناس ضحى فتولى فرعون فجمع كيده ثم أتى قال لهم موسى ويلكم لا تفتروا على الله كذبا فيسحتكم بعذاب وقد خاب من افترى فتنازعوا أمرهم بينهم وأسروا النجوى قالوا إن هذان لساحران يريدان أن يخرجاكم من أرضكم بسحرهما ويذهبا بطريقتكم المثلى فأجمعوا كيدكم ثم أتوا صفا وقد أفلح اليوم من استعلى قالوا يا موسى إما أن تلقي وإما أن نكون أول من ألقى قال بل ألقوا فإذا حبالهم وعصيهم يخيل إليه من سحرهم أنها تسعى فأوجس في نفسه خيفة موسى قلنا لا تخف إنك أنت الأعلى وألق ما في يمينك تلقف ما صنعوا إنما صنعوا كيد ساحر ولا يفلح الساحر حيث أتى فألقي السحرة سجدا قالوا آمنا برب أوجس في نفسه خيفة موسى قلنا لا تخف.
Okay, so the Pharaoh has challenged Moses to obviously show he's basically telling everyone that Moses is just a magician, a conjurer, someone not of God. So he's brought his two magicians out to challenge him, to show the people that, you know, this guy is just another magician. So the magicians have done their thing with their ropes. They've made their ropes move like snakes on the floor. Moses and Aaron are now they're a bit scared. They're a bit like taken back. Like, what are we gonna do here? God says, don't fear. It is you who are superior. And obviously he's gonna make the staff, Moses' staff, do its thing now.
ولا يفلح الساحر حيث أتى فأولئك السحرة سجدا قالوا آمنا برب هارون وموسى.
Okay, so it's done, basically. He's done it. The staff is turned into a snake, it's swallowed up the two ropes that are wiggling on the floor like snakes. And the magicians have fell down, they've bowed, prostrated towards Moses and Aaron. Okay.
قال آمنتم له قبل أن آذن لكم إنه لكبيركم الذي علمكم السحر فلأقطعن أيديكم وأرجلكم من خلاف ولأصلبنكم في جذوع النخل ولتعلمن أينا أشد عذابا وأبقى. قالوا لن نؤثرك على ما جاءنا من البينات والذي فطرنا فاقض ما أنت قاض إنما تقضي هذه الحياة الدنيا إنا آمنا بربنا ليغفر لنا خطايانا وما أكرهتنا عليه من السحر والله خير وأبقى. إنه من يأت ربه مجرما فإن له جهنم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا ومن يأته مؤمنا قد عمل الصالحات فأولئك لهم الدرجات العلى. جنات عدن تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها وذلك جزاء من تزكى. ولقد أوحينا إلى موسى أن أسر بعبادي فاضرب لهم طريقا في البحر يبسا لا تخاف دركا.
So I just want to pause it a second. So I just want to know what happened to the two magicians after that. I think I just missed it there.
إنما تقضي هذه الحياة الدنيا إنا آمنا بربنا والله خير وأبقى. إنه من يأت ربه مجرما فإن له جهنم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا ومن يأته مؤمنا قد عمل الصالحات فأولئك لهم الدرجات العلى. جنات عدن تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها وذلك جزاء من تزكى. ولقد أوحينا إلى موسى أن أسر بعبادي فاضرب لهم طريقا في البحر يبسا لا تخاف دركا ولا تخشى.
Okay, interesting. I'm not sure if in the biblical telling of when Moses passed the Red Sea. I think it was done in the present time, but in the Quranic telling, it seems that God told Moses before it happened that lead your people to the sea. The Pharaoh and his men will chase after you, and I'll part the Red Sea for you and drown the Pharaoh and his army. So, very interesting change to the original story. Sorry, I shouldn't say original story, to the biblical version of the story.
فأتبعهم فرعون بجنوده فغشيهم من اليم ما غشيهم وأضل فرعون قومه وما هدى يا بني إسرائيل قد أنجيناكم من عدوكم وواعدناكم جانب الطور الأيمن ونزلنا عليكم المن والسلوى كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم ولا تطغوا فيه فيحل عليكم غضبي ومن يحلل عليه غضبي فقد هوى وإني لغفار لمن تاب وآمن وعمل صالحا ثم اهتدى وما أعجلك عن قومك يا موسى قال هم أولئك على أثري وعجلت إليك رب لترضى قال فإنا قد فتنا قومك من بعدك وأضلهم السامع ثم اهتدى وما أعجلك عن قومك يا موسى قال هم أولئك على أثري وعجلت إليك رب لترضى قال فإنا قد فتنا قومك من بعدك وأضلهم السامري.
Okay, so Moses briefly left the Israelites to go, I'm guessing, to go back to Mount Sinai, the holy mountain, and speak with God again. And God said, yes, I see that, and we tested your people once you left them, and it says the Samiri has led them astray. So let's see what that's about.
فرجع موسى إلى قومه غضبان أسفا قال يا قوم ألم يعدكم ربكم وعدا حسنا أفطال عليكم العهد أم أردتم أن يحل عليكم غضب من ربكم فأخلفتم موعدي قالوا ما أخلفنا موعدك بملكنا ولكننا حملنا أوزارا من زينة القوم فقذفناها فكذلك ألقى السامري فأخرج لهم عجلا جسدا له خوار فقالوا هذا إلهكم وإله موسى فنسي.
Just going to look at what the Samiri is. I'm not entirely sure what the Samiri is. The Samiri. Samiri refers to a rebellious follower of Moses who created the golden calf and attempted to lead the Hebrews into idolatry. Okay. So, I guess now it's reconfirming to the people of Israel not to... They explained why they were led astray. They said we were carrying lots of ornaments, gold and items of expensive items from the Egyptians. They carried it off because God said, put these items of jewelry and stuff on your children and these valuable items of your children and walk out of Egypt, sorry. So that's what they did. Now this Samiri person has got them to take all these items that were weighing them down, throw them into a fire, and he's produced a calf, and a golden calf has come out, and he said to them, he's tricked them into believing that, you know, this is Moses, this is what Moses truly wants you to worship, but he's forgotten, and he wants you to worship this golden calf, which is idol worship in pagan worship. So now Moses is asking, why have you done this? And they're explaining that, and they're saying, we did not mean to, but this Samiri told them, this Samiri done this act, this kind of magical act, not sure how he achieved that. And this is why they've transgressed from the one God teaching of Moses. So let's see how that turns out. Okay, so Moses is saying, what do you mean you're worshipping a golden calf? Can't you see that this thing cannot speak, it cannot return you any favor, nor can it punish you? How can you worship such thing? He's also saying, no, didn't Aaron tell you that there will be tests? Why have you not seen that this is a test for you? Okay, so Moses is asking his brother Aaron, you were here, when I went off to speak with God, why didn't you stop them from doing this? And Aaron says, he said he feared that Moses would say that, you've caused division amongst these Israelites, these Israeli people, so I didn't do anything to stop them.
فنبذتها وكذلك سولت لي نفسي قال فاذهب فإن لك في الحياة أن تقول لا مساس وإن لك موعدا لن تخلفه وانظر إلى إلهك الذي ظلت عليه عاكفا لنحرقنه ثم لننسفنه في اليم نسفا إنما إلهكم الله الذي لا إله إلا هو وسع كل شيء علما كذلك نقص عليك من أنباء ما قد سبق.
Okay, so Moses has said to Samiri, why have you done this? And Samiri has said, I've seen what your followers did not see. So I took some dust from the path. Obviously, he walked off and left the path. He's took dust from the path that Moses left as he walked off, and he's thrown it. And his soul enticed him to do this. Moses has said to him, okay, fine, understand. He said, don't worry, you have to answer to your God in the hereafter. You don't have me to answer to. You'll no longer have contact with us, but you'll have to answer to God in the afterlife, in the hereafter. For committing such an act.
وقد آتيناك من لدنا يحمل يوم القيامة وزرا خالدين فيه وساء لهم يوم القيامة حملا يوم ينفخ في الصور ونحشر المجرمين يومئذ زرقا يتخافتون بينهم إن لبثتم إلا عشرا نحن أعلم بما يقولون إذ يقول أمثلهم طريقة إن لبثتم إلا يوما الله إن لبثتم إلا عشرا نحن أعلم بينهم إن لبثتم إلا عشرا نحن أعلم بما يقولون إذ يقول أمثلهم طريقة إن لبثتم إلا يوما الله
Okay, really, really interesting there. The end part was interesting. You know, it says the transgressors at the end. They will say, this came up before in another Qur'an, in another surah. That the transgressors will say, "We were only here for a short time. We remained but 10 days." But it says the wiser people will say, "You remained 1 day." Or are they saying, you know, we transgressed because you, God, only remained here for 10 days? I'm not sure about that one, what they meant by the end part there. Or are they saying that, you know, we only remained here for a short time, how can we be punished for such things? I'm not really sure about that, you know. Someone can clear that up for me. But yeah, man, really, really good take on the story. It says, we are most knowing of what they say. Hang on. So it says, the day the horn will blow and we will gather the criminals that day, the blue-eyed. So yeah, they say we are most knowing of what they say. We are most knowing of what they say when the best of them in manner will say. When the best of them in manner will say, you remain not but 1 day. I'm not sure what that means. On the day of judgment, they'll say, you remain not but one. Yeah, so it says on the day of judgment, they will say that you remain not but 1 day. They will say, we remain not but 10 days, and then the wiser one will say, you remain not but 1 day. Are they talking about God remained only 1 day or 10 days on the earth? Are they talking about themselves? They're going to say, oh, we were only here for a short time. How could we be judged like this? Not sure. If someone could enlighten me on that one, that'd be good. But yeah, man, really, really good, really interesting take on the story of Moses. So in fact, according to the Quran, he did not go to a burning bush. It was a fire that he saw, and then God spoke to him from that fire. And obviously had the bits about Aaron being his speaker. Then he went to Egypt and he performed a miracle in front of the magicians. He led the people out. They parted the Red Sea and drowned the Pharaoh and his men. Yeah, man, really good, really, really interesting. I like this. You know, it's how the Quran recited is always really. I guess it's quite like relaxing, and it's like a. You know, it's a recitation instead of a reading, I suppose. Which which is what allows it to be remembered by like so many people, like 1.6 billion people. So yeah, man, no, really, really interesting. Really interesting, I really like that. Yeah, tune in next time for another reaction. I've been your boy Dan. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Teenage dreamer, these are my teenage dreams. One day I'll make enough money to change the whole world, you'll see.